We have obtained some video from a Mar-A-Lago party. Patriot Takes has actually obtained the video, the account on X. I do want to credit them with that. And you know how much MAGA talked about an example of woke culture distorting our country and making it go so insane that people would be furries, which ranges anywhere from you just kind of like dressing up as an animal. Okay, I guess, no problem with that. To believing you're an animal. That, okay. So I hope I'm still woke if I say, that's not it. And then they, because of that, try to create this whole fake story about how the left has gone so crazy that schools are putting litter boxes in bathrooms for elementary school students so they can go to the restroom because they think they're a cat, because now identity means nothing and wokesters have broken the brains of our children. And then there seemed to be, from the video, an actual furry party at Mar-A-Lago, Trump's house. Patriot Takes writes, let them eat cake. Entertainers wearing dog masks and Rococo-era 18th century European aristocratic court costumes danced for Mar-A-Lago guests at a party this weekend. Let's look. It is so weird. Before I play this, the imagery, it's just too spot on of these schwanky parties going on at Trump's house all the time. And they had actually a Great Gatsby themed one. Lavish, unlimited food, while they're saying, well, maybe you could afford a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a piece of corn tortilla, and a mystery item. And there's this weird, the haves and the have-nots, and how Trump got all of these working class Americans to vote for him, but that he's just doing all these things in the interest of his billionaire friends while furry parties are going on at his house. Now, there were some references. Sorry if this makes me seem stupid. I don't know what those references mean, so maybe this is a thing. The dog faces, I don't know. I'm just calling it furry. Like Gavin Newsom. He said, why is Donald Trump hosting a furry party?
I love cows.
You can see the photos there. There's just something so strange about how much time they gave to people dressing up as animals, and that being proof of woke culture going too insane, combined with, while Trump is screwing over the working class, helping his rich friends, there's always these lavish parties happening at his house. There's just something there that feels notable. Here is, again, in times gone by, right-wing podcaster Tim Dillon.
It's literally the end of the world. And somebody said, let's do, now I don't give a fuck what this was for. Some dog rescue, some charity. Who gives a fuck? This whole idea that like everybody showing up to Mar-A-Lago is doing charity is hilarious. They're just givers over there. They can't stop giving. This is an excuse to put on dog masks and get drunk. And God only knows what else. I don't want to hear anything about Hollywood, by the way, anymore from anybody. I don't want to hear about Hollywood and this party and that party. What the fuck?
So, yeah, there's that. And that's happening while we have split screens such as this one.
I happen to believe that middle-class Americans ought to be able to afford a nice steak on a Friday night. Isn't that just simple?
We've run over 1,000 simulations.
So that was during the campaign. I think, we should be able to afford a steak. And now this is what they're telling us.
Over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to...
So the tone has definitely shifted from you should be able to have a nice steak and be able to afford it as a working class American, and we're going to make America affordable like that. Now we made it affordable because we think you can get for $3 a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli. I feel like that's the new person, woman, camera. Piece of chicken, piece of broccoli, piece of corn tortilla.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
and a mystery item. And it's indicative of their panic around the messaging because everyone hears that and goes, no, you can't. Now, you could if you literally mean a piece, but I think you mean like a chicken to fill me up. And I saw another clip of someone else defending that, and they're like, well, here's the problem. People are eating too much. So maybe a tiny little portion size that would get you down to $3 for a meal is just what people need to do because you're so fat. So that's how we're going to make you spend less money. Is you're just going to have to eat less. And meanwhile, my point of that contrast between what Trump's doing at Mar-A-Lago or what people are doing and kind of that, the party's happening, it's all bougie and great, and there's no concerns among any of the people there about affordability. Trump doesn't care about it. Contrasted against the very real problems people are facing and the campaign promises that Trump made. And just in general, the fact that so many people with real economic concerns put their trust in a guy who has shown his only interest is his own economic concerns and enriching himself or helping out people like him. Trump just pardoned a convicted fraudster he previously freed from prison for a different fraud in 2021. So this guy, whatever he does, Trump's going to go ahead and pardon him for. And you'll never guess, but the man's daughter donated millions to Trump's PAC. Oh, my goodness. Then here's CNN.
But one of the people here who was pardoned, Mr. Julio Herrera, his daughter donated $2.5 million to MAGA Inc., a super PAC devoted to Trump, run
It was a coincidence.
by his allies. In May, her father's lawyer, Christopher Kise, who served in Trump's legal defense team, negotiated an unusually lenient sentence with the Justice Department. And then in July, Ms. Herrera donated another $1 million to the MAGA Inc. PAC, and now pardoned.
I know you were so concerned about fraud, Scott. I'm curious, like when you see things like this, why can't we say this is something that is not proper? This is Donald Trump abusing his pardon power and pardoning people as personal favors and not as correcting a misstep in the criminal justice system.
I truthfully don't know anything about these cases. Some of these were recommended by Alice Johnson, who everybody in the criminal justice community respects her opinion. So, look, if I were the president, I would not pardon as many people as either Donald Trump or Joe Biden has pardoned. I think.
Yeah, when Biden pardoned a bunch of people, it was a bunch of nonviolent marijuana charges. When Trump pardons a bunch of people, it's either rich fraudsters who donated to Trump's campaign or violent January 6ers or January 6ers in general. There's a difference. The raw numbers I don't care about. It's what was the purpose. Because you think people shouldn't have been put in jail for certain marijuana crimes when you're like, marijuana? You know? Wordplay could be fit in there if I could think of it. Mary, what? And then Trump's is about if you do favors for him, he will do favors for you, which is called corruption, is what it's called.